Well, hey neighbor, it's me, Angie. How are y'all doing? I'm outside. It's time for our neighborhood chat. I know it's kind of late in the week for me to be doing a neighborhood chat, but I've had 2 doctor's appointments this week. One with my endocrinologist and one with my general practitioner doctor that we just got home from going to see. And I said, oh my goodness, I have to do the neighborhood chat video. So the wind is blowing. It's almost 80 degrees here in Mississippi. It's gonna rain today. I'm trying to get this done before the rain comes. But you just come right on in, up into the yard, and we'll visit out here. And oh, it's plenty of room to sit down or bring your lawn chair. Don't forget to stop by and get you a drink from the refrigerator. Get you a snack. Whatever your heart desires that I have in there in the kitchen that you would like to snack on, you just feel free to pick it up and come on out and let's get this neighborhood chat started, because today is going to be kind of a touchy subject. I hope that I do the topic justice, because a lot of people have different feelings about this subject we're going to talk about. And I do not want to offend anyone by the subject or say something that seems like the subject is just nonchalant and you shouldn't worry about it, because it really hits home with a lot of people, and it has with me in my past. But I think right now in my life I have it pretty much under control, and I'm good. And I want to share with you about some experiences that I've come to realize through what we're going to talk about today. So the topic today is forgiveness. Now, I know we could go down many highways on this subject. And I know we can debate this till the cows come home. But I just want to share a little bit about forgiveness. Maybe it'll resonate with you and help you in some way. Maybe it won't, and that's fine. And maybe you'll agree with me, and maybe you won't. And we can agree to disagree, because we're all on a journey and we're all learning things at different times in our life. And some are learning things that others aren't, and some are experiencing things that others don't experience. So you just take this with a grain of salt, and if it speaks to you, it does, and if it doesn't, it's fine. But just know I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But anyway, forgiveness. Forgiveness is being able to let go of anger or resentment you have towards somebody that has offended you or done an offense to you or caused you pain or hurt you in some way. And that saying, oh, I can forgive, but I'm not forgetting. But in my world, and I'm a Christian, it says in the Bible, we need to forgive and forget. And for a long time, I kept thinking, wait a minute, you want me to forgive this person that has hurt me to my inner being, and you want me to forget it? Now, how is my brain going to forget something that was done to me? Well, years and years have gone by, and I've come to realize that, no, we're going to remember it. But I know through forgiveness that I don't play that recording over in my mind over and over again when I think of the person. Like if the person has done something to me, hurt me, caused me pain, hurt my family, hurt my children, done something, I don't find myself playing that recording over and over in my brain about what happened on a daily basis. Now, it's not that I've forgotten what the person's done or people or whoever. It's just I don't think upon it all day, every day. When I hadn't forgiven them fully, it would be constantly on my mind, like, you know how you put on a record player, you put a 45 and you just continue to play that over and over again. You know, that just goes over and over in your head. And if you see the person's name, if you see the person, if you see anything written about the person, if their name comes up, anything, it triggers, oh my goodness, they hurt me. Now, it takes a long time, depending on the offense, because I know some offenses can be greater than others. So I don't really think personally you can forgive in a day. I think it's a process like grieving. I mean, I think you go through the process of beginning to forgive a person, and then eventually you're able to let go. Now, I know in some cases people can forgive easily when it's just something minor, like your best friend forgets to invite you on a luncheon that you thought you needed to be invited to, and you're like, she comes to you and says, can you forgive me? I'm sorry I didn't invite you. And you're like, oh, sure, we're still friends, we're good. And then you have the people that hurt you so bad that you don't want to speak to them anymore. You don't want them around you. You don't want to hear their name. You don't want to have anything to do with them. So I know there's different degrees of offenses that someone can do to cause you to not be able to forgive. But in my Christian belief, you know, it's if you don't forgive the person that does something to you, then God is not going to forgive you, because we've all made mistakes and we've all hurt people and we've all done the wrong thing. And there are people out there that's just going to intentionally hurt you. That's just a part of it. But as we get hurt, and we will, if we live long enough, somebody's going to hurt us. Somebody that we love. You know, if it's somebody that we don't really have a deep relationship with, you don't really get hurt where you have to forgive them. You get mad. It's like, I'm so mad at them. And you just, you know, don't have the same feeling of having to forgive them. You just have a lot of madness toward them, like anger. But unforgiveness can cause resentment to set up inside you, anger issues, your talents not to come forward. It can hinder you from doing a lot of things, and it also can stop you from being healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. You will not be healthy because you're holding all the unforgiveness in and you can't let it out. Now, I know some people that's been hurt so bad that if they let it all out at once, they would probably have to be hospitalized. And I don't say that lightly, because I know people have been through a lot of trauma and they haven't been able to forgive. But here's what I've learned. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. It's not like you're saying, okay, if I forgive you, that means that what you did to me does not matter. That's not the case at all. Forgiving somebody is for you. It's for you to heal, for you to get better, for you to go on with your life. Because if you look at it, the person that you're holding on to that you haven't forgiven is really still controlling you. They really still have a hold on you to the point that you can't forget what they've done. Now, like I said, some people that have been hurt so bad, it takes time to forgive a person or be able to let go. You know, I think sometimes forgiveness can't just come overnight to certain situations. You know, you may have to get up in the day, and if the person or thing comes to your mind, you may have to repeat to yourself, I forgive you. I forgive you. Because what's going to happen to them is far greater than what you could ever do to them. And you say, oh, but I want to see when they get paid back. I want to be there when they get what they deserve. Well, you may never be there, and you may never see it. But believe me, they're going to have to answer for what they've done. Especially if they don't come back to you and say, I've done something to you. I did something to you. I'm sorry. And ask you for forgiveness. But just because they don't ever come back and ask you for forgiveness doesn't mean you can't forgive them. You can. And don't look for them to come and ask you for forgiveness, because I would say 90% of the time, people do not come back and ask the person that they've done something to forgive them. Now, I may be wrong on that percentage, but it's sad that it's like that. But a lot of times the person that's hurt someone does not come back and say, please forgive me, I'm sorry. Especially if, number one, if you're not married to them, if it's not a close relationship you have, the person's not gonna do it. Unforgiveness can cause separation, not only between you and whatever belief you have, but you and other relationships. Because, when two people have a disagreement and one person is the offender and one person is the one being offended, and they don't ever get it worked out, everybody around them feels what's going on. They know that there's something between those two people. They may not know the whole story, but they know something is wrong. So you can't get certain people in a room together like you used to and expect to have everything flow like it used to flow, because it's not going to work. Communication is so important. And a lot of times when it first happens, you can't communicate. You don't want to talk about it. You're either mad or angry or sad or hurt, or you can't stop thinking about, how could this person do this to me? How could they actually hurt me after I've been such a good friend to them? I've been there for them. I've loved them. I care for them. But the longer I live, the more I realize people are fickle. They are so fickle. They just, one minute they are all for you and they like you and they're your best friend and they want to be around you. And the next minute, they don't want to have anything to do with you. So you have to be careful who you choose to allow into your life, especially on YouTube. You can't be so, I hate to use the word gullible, that you just gonna let anybody in and just assume that they're gonna have your best interests, because they're not. Because when it all boils down to it, everybody's looking out for themselves and they want the best for them. When two people have a disagreement and it splits up a family, it splits up a friendship, it splits up a community. It's a sad thing, because it should be something that those two people, or ever how many people's involved, should come to an understanding that, look, we care enough about these other people that we don't want it to break apart anything that's happening. Let's just try to get along. Now, I know certain offenses that people do to each other, I wouldn't want to be around them, especially if it's something physical, or to me, that I would have to leave and not go back to enemy camp if somebody hurt one of my children in the wrong way, or hurt me in the wrong way, or there's just some situations that it's always going to be broken. What they say, there's too much water under the bridge, you can't go back. And also, you see these documentaries or these shows where someone's family member has been murdered, and the family member stands up and says, they speak on the behalf of their loved one and they say, I forgive you. I forgive you. Now, to me, that takes a strong person to say that they forgive somebody for taking the life of their loved one. I respect it and I admire it, but I don't know how long it would take me to be able to stand up and say that if someone took the life of my loved one for no reason. But I guess it depends on how strong you are in your faith or with your ability to be able to trust that that person is going to be taken care of with or without your forgiveness. Because like I said, the forgiveness is for you, not the other person. Though it seems like, well, how can it be for me? If I forgive them, I let them go and they're scot-free. Oh no, they're not scot-free. Everything that somebody does is going to be taken care of. You can't go around hurting people and not pay the consequences of that. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, I probably won't ever live to see it. Okay, maybe you won't, but maybe you will. But you don't have to see it. What you need to do is just go on with your life, live it, enjoy yourself, and every time you feel that pain of that person that did that offense to you, until you actually let it go, just say, I forgive you. I don't agree with what you've done to me, but I forgive you. Because I want to go on with my life. I want to be happy. I want to have peace. Who does not want to have peace in their life? I want to sleep good at night. I want good things to come to me. I want to have beautiful things come to my family. You know, by having unforgiveness in your life, you can stop a lot of good things that you're supposed to be getting that you won't give because you're harboring resentment and bitterness and anger. You know, when you harbor all that, you can't let in love, joy, peace, kindness, the light that can shine onto others. You can't let that in. You have to let it go. And like I said, it may take a little bit at a time to let it go. And then one day you'll wake up and think, I'm not even worried about that anymore. I don't even care. You know, you care, but you don't care enough to be worried about it because you're never gonna stop remembering what happened, but you can forget about it happening to the point that you can release it and let it go. So my message to you today is start out forgiving whoever has offended you or done something to you. Doesn't mean you have to go back and be their friend. It doesn't mean you have to go back and speak to them, talk to them. They don't even have to know that you're working on forgiving them. That's between you and whoever you serve, you know, or whatever you need to do. It doesn't have to be between, you don't even have to even express it to anybody. You just work on it for you. And you'll live a more freer, joyful, happier life. And great things will start coming your way. And with that being said, neighbor, remember, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And don't forget, we got one life. One. Get out there. It's becoming springtime, and enjoy this weather, and watch the flowers bloom, and the birds sing, and be happy. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to comment. You know I love your comments. I love for each and every one of you to comment. Boy, I got the red lipstick I was on today. That's funny. Anyway, don't forget to ring that bell so you'll know the next time I'm coming to you with a video. And with that being said, neighbor, Bye.